Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this Wednesday night episode. I had to think about that for a second. The Deep Woo-Woo Tarot Readings by Janine. You can find the lovely Janine, who's back home, by the way, here at Sending Ravens on YouTube. 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations. And also here on Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back. Welcome back home, and welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm really good. It took me all day today just to feel like I wasn't in motion, like in a car, but...
Right. How many miles did you put all together? Did you calculate this? Do you know?
Well, it was, I can't remember. People can look it up, but so we went from Prince Rupert to Calgary. Okay. And we took the northern route. So we went through Prince George. Okay. Usually you get off the ferry early in the morning and you drive to Prince George. So that's about a 7 hour, if you take a little break, 6, 7 hour, maybe 8 hour day. Then you get up early in the morning because you stay overnight in Prince George, and you go again, and you got about a 10-hour day, 8 or 10, depending on if you stop or whatever. Yeah. So we decided, because we were getting off the ferry late, and we chatted with you right at 5, my 5, your 8.
Right.
Yeah, right. We were just off the ferry. So that was the later ferry. So we decided to get 5 hours under our belt. So we drove to Houston, British Columbia, which is quite funny, the name. Yeah. And it was just past Smithers. It's kind of a rail town. We heard the railway was very noisy, let's just say, and I didn't get much sleep. But anyway, so that was a bad idea. But we got up, but we were on the road at 7 a.m. BC time, and it took us till 8:30 p.m. to get home, which was brilliant time. We only stopped really for an hour, and then just for gas and bathroom breaks. But we did fantastic because Ashley is a very good and very fast driver. So she did a lot of the driving.
She has a heavy foot, does she?
Yes, but in a good way. She really knows what she's doing.
That's funny. I was just looking at one of these videos, and you guys are looking like you have a hoot in the car there, so that's cool. Wow. Okay. Well, welcome back. We have a lot to talk about. And of course, you and I were taking it easy, mostly for the month of May. We haven't had intuition and I guess divine guidance to maybe take it easy on some of the language. Of course, you lost your monetization on your YouTube channel. I've just recently here been struggling with my Twitter account, which is still suspended as we speak today. Where did it go? There you go. So guys, for some reason, I'm still working on this. So if you're asking why I'm not posting anything on Twitter, it's because right now I can't. So I'm trying to fix that. I don't know if I'll be able to or not, or if I'm going to have to just create another one. So again, if you guys are looking for me, I'm not on Twitter for now until I resolve the situation, but I'm still posting on my Facebook, and I'm still posting on my Telegram. So that's t.me/BeyondMystic. The official channel, you'll see a little red dot next to it. So you'll get my updates there, including the last videos that Janine and I just recorded today. So I did promote that. It is available now to the Insider Access Pass members. Of course, those guys get first viewing access to all of our new content. Let's talk about this one today too, Janine. This is a follow-up to the special investigation we did on Atlantis and Lemuria, which were jaw-dropping, both of them, for many reasons. Let's talk about this one we recorded today. Absolutely slack-jawed we were going through this whole episode. What do you want to share with the audience?
Well, first I'll say, when you're watching, keep this in mind. I had no idea, because I've been out of the loop a little bit, what we were going to be talking about. So I jumped on there with my cards ready, and I've never looked at this place. I've never even read anything about it. No one's ever talked about it to me. So I had no idea what you guys were getting at.
Yep.
And then I was just following along, just like an audience member would be, and just throwing the cards on it. So that's why I think it's very valuable, because you're getting the universe's take with no intellectual input from me, which is exactly the best way to get a card reading.
Right. And you know what's cool too? We're discovering now, this is a brand new series, by the way, that we've just recently added to the Insider Access Pass yearly membership. And this is why I have here on this slide. explain to the audience members what we're doing with these investigations now. You kind of said it earlier after the show. You said, "Oh my God, explain what we're doing with this show and how I guess guided we are being here to decode what's coming down the pike here."
It's like we're piecing back the world together. We're piecing all of this information and bringing a whole picture of our true history. I think eventually it's going to be really a valuable series because we're getting mind-blowing information here without even expecting it at all. Like the rabbit holes we're going down are incredible. So I think eventually we're gonna piece together some of the big mysteries.
Right, exactly. That's really fun. And we're having a lot of fun doing it. Yeah. And just judging by the comments, this series is generating so much comments and people adding reviews to it compared to the other stuff we were doing before. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that. And those questions also, because it's driving us to more and more of these sacred locations around the world, either historic or real or perceived to be real, and how they're affecting us and our ability here to understand who we are, this species with amnesia, and how we're moving into this age of Aquarius. Absolutely fascinating series. Of course, this is new to the Insider Access Pass membership. And last but not least, we've just now recreated this amazing opportunity for you guys to join the Insider Access Pass. The promo code is now or never. This is 10% off. You guys were asking if we were going to renew the Stay Connected coupon code we were running last year. And so this is our attempt now to thank you, each and every one of you. If you go and listen to the video we posted live maybe half an hour ago, a big thank you to all of you Insider Access Pass members who've been on the front line, shoulder to shoulder with us in this fight against censorship for the last year. But there's still more work to be done. And this movie isn't over, as we know. And so go check out that video. We'll give you a few examples of why we think that is. And of course, a note of encouragement here for you guys who were contemplating perhaps supporting us here. We're giving you reasons in this video why maybe now is a good time. Now or never. And as Elvis used to say, what's in the last part? Tomorrow will be too late. Yes, the song. Yeah. I had it in my head. So the coupon code, guys, the link is below in the description box below, and you can also go and watch the previous video we posted tonight for a little bit more details on that. So a big thank you to all of you guys. And again, to thank you guys this evening, of course, a big thank you to all of you who support us through the PayPal tip jar. We can't always get to all of the questions there. We do our darn best, but this is our way to give back to the community. These pyramids are on average worth somewhere between $300 and $400 each, and we give these back to the communities here who support us in the PayPal tip jar. This is the creation for tonight. I have two names also, Rhonda Watrous and Yvonne Whitworth. Those are the winners of last week. They haven't communicated back to Carla. So if you're listening to the show now, check your spam folder. You're probably having a message from Carla there, and she's trying to reach you to send you last week's pyramid. So let's listen to what we have in store tonight for the PayPal tip jar donors.
Hey everybody, this is Carla from Ascension Organized with another new design for you. Her name is Aurora. So Aurora was created together with Aramis the same day. You could say that they were born at the same time. And she embodies Atlantis energies. That's exactly what I got as soon as I got her out of the mold. So she is made of white milky quartz and seashells together with brass metals. So white milky quartz is a great master healer stone. It's great for amplifying any stone that is near it. Great for grounding body, mind, and soul, healing, any intention that you basically set her to. And seashell, because it holds the power of the ocean and the energies of the ocean. I'll give her a quick turn around so you can see her. And there she is. I hope you guys like her. Thank you very, very much. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you so much, Carla. And of course, if you guys are looking at getting one of these amazing creations in your own possession, ascensionorganites.com is the link to Carla's website where you can get access to all of her products. And of course, there, if you use the coupon code BeyondMystic, you'll get an extra 10% off these amazing creations. Janine, you and I have a lot to talk about. Again, we were kind of taking it easy in the last month in terms of getting into some hot topics, but we're being guided to maybe start cranking that out again. So thank you everyone for joining us here tonight. We are going to be taking some of your questions a little bit later on the show, but we wanted to explore a couple of things here. First one, this Queen Jubilee thing. Janine, set that up a little bit, and even though we're going to dive into this one and it's a little bit murky, we're going to try to choose our words, but nonetheless, we need to talk about this a little bit. How do you want to set that up for the audience?
Well, I was traveling while it was going on, but I sure got a lot of emails about it. All kinds of photos, and people sent me videos. Very interesting what the queen supposedly attended and didn't attend in this thing. And of course, then there was that hologram of her going by in the carriage. Or was the whole thing a hologram? That's where I went with it in my mind. Right? Because a lot of these things could have been filmed. Like, so many people don't understand. Some of these events that you're watching on television and or seeing footage of could have been filmed at other times. We're seeing that. We saw that big events in the last couple of years, big awards events, and the Oscars and everything, they were filmed at different times. Right? So we don't know. I'm just super curious, because I didn't even think this would happen. In the cards, it looked like it wouldn't even happen, but maybe the cards were reading that it didn't really happen.
Right. That's the other thing here. Well, let's ask that question, Janine, because we've been looking at this for quite many months, and we always come up with, she's already left. Now they're delaying the announcement. And so we didn't think they would delay this long, but you're here again. We are in this delay. Let's ask, what's the delay? Why are they pushing this out forward here before they announce her departure? Is that a good way? Do you want to frame it that way?
Yep, that's a really good question. I'm asking myself that. I'm like, what on earth are they up to?
Right.
Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune. And so things are maybe the opposite of what appeared. Okay, so, which is interesting. And this card's sort of the status quo, and everything's just great. Okay, so this card would be, it's the exact opposite of everything's just status quo, or everything's just the way it always has been. So it's presenting like, okay, like always, we got the Jubilee, got all these events that happen. Okay, but then we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So it could have been totally not happening at the very, like they're trying to appear like everything's status quo or the usual. Okay, but it couldn't be the furthest thing from that. Like, this card is saying it's nothing like it appears. Let's just say that. Okay, we got this card in the middle. Okay, so there would have been a lot of comms, and or what I call comms, or other people call signaling. So I'm sure a lot of people I haven't even got a chance to read all the emails I've got, but I bet a lot of people saw the signaling. And I'm pretty sure Ben Fulford did, because he wrote a big article about it.
Right.
So you might want to check that out. And even though we don't always agree on everything, I think that was a really good article. And I think even in his perception, you can even read between the lines and see what I'm saying here. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking like there was some really big things that point to what's really going on in the events themselves. Okay, so they weren't usual, even though it might appear that way on the surface. There was a lot of unusual things going on. Okay, and by the way, did you get some really good close-ups of some of the characters playing these these people? Like, honestly, did not look like the people to me. I saw some close-ups, and it was like, okay, we had some pretty suspicious-looking royal family members, but... That's, you'll have to use your own discretion and go have a look yourself, but that's what I got. So now we've got the Fool, the Two, and so they want everything going along because they got something they want to do first here. Something else has to happen first before, and it has something to do with the children. Okay, so I've always got a really big thing they need people to understand is what's going on with the children. So before they can really call this family out in families like this, I feel like they have to show us what's been going on with the children before they can point fingers at families like this and elites like this. They got to show what they do. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And let's further into this article here. Ben was talking about the Pope himself, and he's saying that some of his insiders are telling him that he's probably going to be announcing his resignation here very soon. Now, that ties in the question of children also, and I guess that's the most we can say to bridge those two topics together. So let's take a beat on that also. Are we also close here, maybe within a month, of having this announcement here? There's a lot going on here. We'll get into Mr. T, how perhaps that's connected to a possible return also. And folks, thank you or for all the emails, because you were all asking about this here in the last couple of days. So we're trying to do our best to make a montage of all of these subjects here to take a pulse on them right now. So question is, are we close to seeing maybe the departure of the Pope?
So I'm getting that he's gone. Of course, we always get that when we look at it. So he's been gone, and I'm thinking 8 months at least with that card. And this was in the past because of past affiliation with what we've been calling the dark cult. So he's gone, okay? And whoever's playing him is now sort of being controlled by White Hat or Alliance people. So I'm going to say whoever that was, they're puppeting. So whatever they're doing with them, they're preparing maybe to let everybody in on it, but they're not quite ready to. But this card says, I'm thinking really soon with that too, like you said, with that 9 of Cups, it's their wish and desire that happens. I'm thinking right away.
Okay.
He's already faced judgment is what I'm getting.
Well,
the actual Pope isn't in the scene of this. Is not about him at all.
Right. Somebody on the screen is saying, hey, are you allowed to say that word, quote unquote, again? Maybe not. We've said it enough, so maybe we should use the small people here. Again, this is YouTube still, and Janine is still demonetized, and we're done indeed. D Smart says those people were taken care of in 2020, and the Queen also, she's talking about December 5th. I'm not sure about those dates, but it sounds about right. The 8 months you're talking about there, what we've seen in the cards for the last couple of months. So that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, following this, and again, Ben was also reporting on what other people were saying. So we're all kind of chasing some of the same news stories here in the last couple of weeks. I don't want to make it about Ben Fulford himself, but the news items are all there on one page. So the other thing is to hear this idea that the big man here, I'm just going to bold that for you guys to see, has returned to the original creation or returned to source. So you guys know what that means. And what they're suggesting that what we're seeing now is basically a last final fight of all the last minions who don't have the big plan, who don't have the original structure and support that this particular entity had, and that we are really facing a mop-up operation on one hand that's behind the scenes that we can't see, but yet what we can see is it looks like it's getting worse and worse and worse by the day, whether that's the new legislations, the mandates, the monkeypox, all the stuff that they're throwing at us, including all the pow events. And we'll get into that next here. So, Jenny, let's take a poll on that, because I don't think you and I have asked that question before. We talked about Mr. M, and I won't say his name. This was the prize that Mr. T had asked for by running, was the removal of Mr. M. So you guys can go watch that past episode. But here, Mr. S, let me bring that back on the screen. Is he really gone? Let's take a pulse on that. Does it make sense that he's returned to original creation? And this is a derivation here of all of these news items and last minute fights that we're seeing here to mop up this operation. Does that make sense? What do the cards add to that conversation?
Yeah, I'd say it's true. This is what is happening with Mr. S, S-A-T guy, with an A-N at the end, that guy, just in case people don't know who we're talking about.
Sorry for all the code guys, but we're doing it better.
Yeah, we can't say the word, but the bad guy, the original bad guy that a lot of these dark cult sort of bad news members all sort of worship or whatever. Okay, that entity is as good as, so they've been beaten for sure with that card. Look at the card. They've been beaten, but this card says, so they've got one more little play to play here, which might be those minions. I feel like maybe on the way out the door, waking up some of their MK altered and or mind controlled peoples, maybe something like that. Anyway, he's got one more little trick up his sleeve is what that's saying. Okay. Yeah, but the good guys definitely have the upper hand here. Yeah, and justice is being served to a whole lot. It's already happening. So I'm thinking we're talking about that secret situation going on that's like a tribunal.
Right. Wow.
Right, like that, those kind of things going on. And then here's the overview. Yeah, so I'm thinking things are way better than they look, but we're still seeing the terrible signs. So it's like, remember that road trip?
Yeah.
You brought it up, right? It was a big vision for me, and I'm still ongoing. Horrible signs that keep flashing fearful things at me all through this road trip I was on, and the weather just got better and better, and none of the things they said were going to happen. But if I watched the signs, I would have pulled over and got a room for the night in some little town. I was going through the mountains, and I asked the universe to show me with my drive, which often is the case when I drive, our bigger world situation. I think we're still in that situation. Things are getting better and better on one hand, but we're being shown the worst of everything.
Okay. Yes, and yes. I was reading the chat as you were saying that, and everybody's like, "Who the hell is M?" So I'm like, okay, I didn't want to go there. Let me just bring it up. You guys take a screenshot right now. This is Mr. M. And we've talked about him before, but we've talked about him in the context of the deep dive investigation we did on the pay-per-view on Mr. T, where he came from, some of the genetic encoding, the recruitment process for Mr. T, and partly what his mission was and why he would even take the role, seeing as he was already a billionaire, didn't need to, get into the mud of the political scene. And one of the things came out there, we had pulled the cards on some of the reports that he had accepted this role and that the prize he wanted was not the presidency or it wasn't that, it wasn't money, but it was an overall removal of this entity from the planet. So if you haven't seen that episode, just go watch that pay-per-view. This is very, very nebulous subject matter for YouTube, to say the least. Okay, so I hope I answered your question there, guys. I'm sorry with all of this code talk, but it is what it is. Okay, so speaking of Mr. T, this is how a lot of YouTubers, truthers, insiders, people who supposedly have connections, they're all kind of pinging right now the same storyboard that between the Queen, between the Pope, some of these announcements, that could lead into, after we deal with the small people situation here, the big return of the T guy, maybe as early as July. Now, you and I have looked at these dates. We've heard many people talk about many dates for the last number of months, and these all seem to come and go and pass, and nothing happens. Nevertheless, people here on the show want to know. So, is it possible that the sequence of events, as it's being portrayed by some of these truthers out there, makes sense this time, that by July we could see a return of Mr. T?
I just want to say things do happen, but often not in the public eye, and we need them to happen in the public eye.
Right.
Well,
there's two things there. I appreciate that caveat, because when we don't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen, and that's the tricky part of doing these shows. But there's also another thing too. When Janine is pulling cards, she's pulling for generally speaking, one very specific segment of the population, and we might have to do an explanation on that a little bit later in the show. But yes, let's keep going on this one here on the pull on whether or not there could be this return in July.
So the world and an ace in the middle is like, looks like a yes.
Yeah.
Don't forget though that consistently the cards have been saying he's already in control. He's just undercover. Okay, see that card? That's undercover.
Yeah.
So he's hiding, but he's actually in control. But this looks like a yes. So that's what they're definitely aiming for that. So those guys are getting, that's what they're getting. And that's the plan is that. You better believe it. Now, how much of a chance, I said, does that, like, give us a percentage. We got a 70%. So some things could go wrong is what I'd say to that. But it looks really good.
Again, I go back to this image because we've looked at this in many pay-per-views. I think one was the Tomorrow War or the Temporal War we were looking at, and the connection or the command structure from this person in Mar-a-Lago to military people, even after he had left office, was evident for a lot of people to see, even though mainstream media was not reporting on that. So again, it's kind of what we're tying into here. Something is obfuscated from all of us. So it becomes a little bit nebulous. Okay, so 80% possible. I'll take that. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. But that also means, Janine, that for all of that to happen by July, a lot of truths need to come out, and a lot of people are going to have difficulty adjusting to that reality. The neighbors, the friends, the family members who, when you talk about this or they watch your videos, they go, oh yeah, Janine's absolutely off a rocker. That can't be, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly they might have to do a mea culpa and say, oh shit, maybe Janine was right. Let's pull some cards on that, because a lot of people watching this show feel that way, and they know they have family members who are gonna literally freak out when a lot of this goes on. So let's do a word of advice. I know we've asked this before. There's new people watching the show now, but also the advice might have changed from last year. The situation is much different today than it was last year in terms of dealing with people who are waking up. What would the cards say today for those people who are dealing with family members, friends who might be going through an extreme, rude, and rapid awakening here very soon?
So yeah, it changes a lot when I look at the cards on what to be doing. Yeah. And this actually looks like active duty for speaking. So it's just like you were saying, it's time to maybe crank it up and start talking about the news again. I feel like we're in a little energy where, and we just finished that retrograde, okay, that it is a good time to start talking truth again. I mean, obviously not if they're blocking you and they don't want to talk to you, but if you get any kind of an in, you might want to say a few things. I was doing that with family members in Haida Gwaii, friends, and I would go a certain distance at the dinner party or whatever, dinner gathering. And then I'd, like we do a lot of potlucks there. There's almost no restaurants. Right. It's never open. They're all closed on Mondays. And so it was really hard to eating. But I was well fed by family and friends. So we would all do potlucks, but there was a lot of sleeping people at the potlucks, even my dear friends who I love. Okay, they know a bit though, and they know a lot more than they did last time I talked to them. So that's interesting to note. Yeah. And, and I got a lot further in the conversations without getting shut down. Yeah. And that's what this looks like. So it's time to put on the energy again, push it out again, start talking about your truth again, to, obviously feeling the waters and not pushing it, of course, but you might find they're more receptive or receptive to a certain degree a little more. Right.
Well, Anne Francois here in the chat, she's saying, or here or there. Anyways, a lot more people are awake around the world than we realize, JC. Yeah, absolutely. And Janine was just talking about that too, how crazy it was, these communities who were like, wow, really awake. And so that was interesting. Even in these far remote communities, find these groupings of people. So yes, this small fringe minority is a minority no more, Mr. T, our Canadian Mr. T. I got to tell you, it's growing by the day. Okay.
Even on the 7 a.m. in the morning when we left that tiny town, we went to the only coffee shop that was open, and at that hour, wonderful woman was in there. She didn't say I could use her name, so I won't. But she had a petition going against all the ridiculous mandates and just the whole situation, like from the government, from the perspective of government overreach. Yeah. And she had lots of signatures, and she's in a very tiny area. Now, she'd had that petition going for quite a while, but I was so impressed because she mentioned it to us and didn't even bat an eye. Like she didn't look like, she just assumed we'd be okay with it. So that's saying a lot. Yeah. And we just clicked right away and had a huge conversation about everything that's going on. And she was very red-pilled. Okay, so wow. And then on the ferry, we met a whole group of people that had a huge group in their town. And they were the leaders of that group in the town that were absolutely huge Beyond Mystic Live fans and people that watch this show and, you know, the various other truthers we all follow. And yeah, it was brilliant. That I was thrilled.
That's exciting. It's so exciting. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me bring up some news articles from today. You and I have pulled cards on this. Thank you, Smiling Eyes, for that. Really appreciate the comment there on the screen. You're amazing. I wanted to bring this one, not the Kavanaugh one, but the Summer of Starvation, quote unquote. Soaring fertilizer prices unleash chaos, hunger worldwide. Now, you and I have pulled on this before, and every time we pull on this food shortage, we always say yes, but pull it back a bit. It seems to be exaggerated, even though we know a lot of this is man-made. Now, I wanted to bring this fertilizer back because this was in your neck of the woods there, Fort McLeod. This was 2 weeks ago, this huge derailment of cars again with fertilizer here in Canada. So we are not immune now to this issue of fertilizer. And to top it all off, I spoke to a gentleman in the trucking business 2 days ago, and he said right now, because of soaring gas prices, inflation, they're doing less run from their clients to the shelves. And so a lot of the clients who have fertilizer cannot get it on the shelves, not just because there's a lack of fertilizer, but the one they have, a lot of truckers don't want to be on the road right now. They're trying to do less and less trips to fill the trucks, basically. So there's delays being caused by these other delays, like Cliff was saying, the convergencies here of emergencies. So I wanted to look at that again. A lot of people are worried about the food supply. Let's take a pulse on, are we going to be eating bugs here like they're saying in this article?
Okay, take it down. Way down. Yeah, it'll be unique, and there's going to be odd and unique things off the shelves. And by the way, fertilizers, what's been killing the crops? If you keep doing the same crops on the same field and you just pumping the fertilizer, like it's absolutely to our disadvantage to use fertilizer. There's different ways. So I have a feeling it's very selective what's going on. Okay. They have a reason why. They have a reason. There's 2 aces in this card reading. These are signaling with the things that are being taken off the shelves. And I feel like eventually, even a year from now, we're in better shape food-wise, not worse. But yes, there's going to be, this is the overview. 5s, remember 5s? I talk about the minor arcana. Temporary setbacks and holdups. It's not a major arcana. Okay, and this card here, they're trying to get everybody paying attention to certain things. So they're focused. This guy's really focused. So they're focusing in on certain things that you're going to see shortages of. So pay attention to what those things are, because some of them we might be better off without.
That's a really good point. And I wanted to bring the attention to the audience to our schedule here, because the last video I did with Penny Kelly, she touched upon this fertilizer thing and how absolutely atrocious and devastating it actually is, not just to the crops, but to the nutrients or the lack of nutrients that make it through the crops and into our bodies. So our health are being affected by this. And if we have shortages of this, we might go back to more organic ways of producing our energy and our food supply, as Janine is saying here. And that could actually be good on the long run, even though there might be some difficulties and some things missing along the way. So I agree with you. Yeah, everybody's like, exactly, JC, good point. Okay, 2 things coming up tomorrow. Please pay attention. At 1 o'clock, we are reprising the episode that we were supposed to do yesterday. We had a little glitch there in the retrograde with Jim Willie, so he's going to be back at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And right after that, at 3 p.m., we're doing the Silver Astro Woo with Bix Weir and Julie. So we're going to look at all the woo, the shenanigans happening right now in the silver market, what seems to be breaking, and also how the astrology is tying into all that. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. And a new special live Divine Feminine Oracle show with Janine, Julie, and Sophie. This is going to be next Tuesday on the 14th. You don't want to miss that. And of course, Penny Kelly coming back for a look-see on June 16. After that, as you can see, it's a little bit blank. I might take a week off. for the summer and spend time with the family. At least that's what I'm planning right now, folks. And then, of course, we'll get back to normal after that. So a big thank you, you guys, for supporting us and understanding. I'll take a little bit of a break here and there too on my side of things. Okay, Janine, let's go at the PayPal tip jar here and see if I can get. Please share with Janine and appreciation to you both. Thank you, Janice. That's a really nice tip. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Co-create happiness. Sorry, I can't afford the insider access pass, but GC, I love you. Joy, bliss. Thank you so much. And thank you for that tip. I really appreciate that. That's really cool as well. Melissa, hi, Janine. I have quit my job. Okay, let me zoom in on this so you guys can see this one. I'm trying to pick these live here. So a big thank you to all of you in the PayPal tip jar. Really, really cool of you guys. So Melissa, okay, quit my job and exited the matrix. Oh, there you go. But have no idea what is next. A lot of people are in that situation right now. And the stress of creating the new and launching, maybe flying for the first time, getting those wings that we all had as humans before they were clipped and we were put into this matrix. A lot of people are in that position, Janine. So what can the card say here to Melissa in terms of what's next for her in this next little while and this transition out of the matrix?
Wow. Well, it was just in time for her to be leaving. It's perfect timing. That's a universal timing card. And it's really well aspected with that Six of Swords. I feel like if she puts it out there that she'd like to know what it is, she'll get a really clear download, because I think she's already got all of the tools. It could have something to do with teaching something, because this card gives wise counsel. So counseling others, teaching others, and or sharing knowledge and about something very specific. She's got that sword. So this person asking the question has a very specific knowledge base that they may or may not be aware of. Okay. Some people aren't aware of this, there's stored knowledge they have, right? This person has a lot of stored knowledge, and they're also really good at boundaries or teaching boundaries. So that's interesting. And or they need to learn boundaries going forward is another way I could read that. So they might be able to answer that a little better. Sorry. The cats won't leave me alone since I got home.
They missed you, Janine.
Yeah. Public speaking is going to be part of it with this person. So their knowledge base needs to be talked about or written about. Even if someone else does the writing, they need to share some information they have. And it's been sitting with them for a long time, maybe lifetimes.
Okay, very good. That's great advice. Tony is asking, how do you access the tip jar? The link is on the screen. Let me put it back. It's also in the description box and pin to this live comment video, but let me put it back into the live chat now. And when you fill out whatever donation you can, there's a little place for a note, and that's where you place your question, and it'll come up. When I look at the PayPal screen here, it'll come up with this little exclamation part, and I know that that's the question there. So I'll get to the next question here in a moment. But somebody was asking me today, JC, it would be a lot easier if people can ask questions in super chats. Why don't you do super chats? Because our YouTube channel is demonetized and we cannot do super chats. That's the answer. That's why we had to do the runaround with this PayPal thing. And of course, it's not obvious. It's not as easy, but it's what works for now. So I hope you guys understand. It's really hard here when you get demonetized. Basically, they handcuff you here on YouTube, and you can't do any of the features that would normally come with the program. So it just is what it is. But some people, if they don't have a YouTube channel, they don't know that that's what's going on. Charlotte Rivers, JC, haven't you heard vacation is overrated? I know, but my family doesn't agree.
It is not overrated.
No.
I feel fantastic.
Exactly. Well, you look fantastic too, Janine, and you're getting a lot of comments on how you're absolutely glowing tonight. Okay, next question here. Iron Tree Creations. Let me see if I can bring this up. And is that okay? That's a line. Okay, so Julie pulled. Wait, what's this? Oh, yes. Okay, so this was on the Monday show. The last Haida Gwaii updates we did with you. Later in the show, somebody had asked Julie about what was coming for her, and Julie pulled the cards. You are the medicine. Basically, this person now wants to understand, well, okay, can you ask Janine for clarity on this, on what it means for me currently? Will I remember my healing gifts to help others? How will I help? She wants a little bit more meat to that context there about she already, kind of like the last viewer, you said they already have what they need. Iron Tree is trying to figure that out also for themselves here.
They may literally be the kind of person that rises energy in a room. Okay, so they walk in a room, so they just have to be present. And I think that would make sense to Julie saying she is the medicine. Some people don't realize how subtle healing work is, okay? Like so a lot of people told me it wasn't what I was saying in the reading so much as my tone of voice and connecting with me somehow. Like I got all kinds of feedback on just energetically sitting with me. Everyone felt like everything was going to be okay, even if they couldn't remember a word I said.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily what a person's saying sometimes. It's their energy vibration. So this person doesn't realize maybe they vibrate, even if they didn't consciously learn to do this, they vibrate already at a really high level. That's what this says. Right? They bring it into the room with them. So they do it physically by being there, comforting energetically. So interesting, like a lot of people that work in areas like trauma and or like first responder types, a lot of them that get attracted to those kind of jobs often have that kind of calming or a way to sort of handle situations that otherwise other people would make worse. Right. They just have an energy that they come in with that, okay, we're going to get this figured out if we can. And they don't even have to say that. They just energetically, and not all of them are like that, but some of the more gifted ones are. And then in the healer's case, they're just bringing literally the energy into the room. So they're vibrationally, energetically vibrating at a level that already helps people understand and or know truth easier somehow.
Wow. Well, just the healing part, again, just the vibration, just being there. I hope that helps, Iron Tree. That gives you a little bit more clarity on what you need to do. I really do. And again, sometimes less is more. It doesn't need to be complicated. And we're finding that out as we're going through all of these transitions, all of us together, how absolutely amazing we all are. Absolutely. Keep going, Jen.
Balance.
Yeah.
So they help people's energy balance. They're like a tonic.
Wow.
Yeah. So if they added consciously knowing that about themselves, they'll really bring it.
Wow. Okay.
Just own it and speak about it like that's true. Don't undervalue yourself verbally. I'm not saying walk around and say, okay, I'm this amazing healer. I'm not saying come from ego, but deep in your heart, know and trust that that could be true and see what happens.
Right. Wow. Okay. I'm happy for that person asking the question. That seemed to be very important for them, and they want to contribute. And that's the beauty of all of this. And a lot of our members are like that. They want to contribute to humanity. Let's talk about that for a second, Janine, before I pull the next question. You said to me during an after show, maybe last week or the week before, she says, JC, you have to realize the cards I'm pulling is from this community. People who are not listening to this and not doing their homework, they don't have the same outcome as we're pulling. Can you explain that a little bit more here in more details for this show? What do you mean by that, Janine?
Yeah, I think there's whole other timelines for different people depending on what they're seeing and visualizing. Like the life I'm living feels very different from some other family members. And I feel like it's because I trust in the universe. I trust in the big picture that I feel like I have a glimpse of. At least I don't obviously have all the answers, but I'm open. I'm also really open-minded. So like when we did that show today, the things we discovered about the world, like we could be on our way to solving if the world's flat or round here, because like it's obviously neither actually. But anyway, you gotta watch the show.
Stop kicking the hornet's nest, Janine.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the things. Yeah. So being open and being in a whole other sort of way of believing in life and trusting in your path and trusting in your personal energy. could change your whole world, and your whole world gets better. You'll notice. But some other people still have work to do, and they'll take longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. And because there's new people who come on the show and they look at your readings, they might not resonate to it yet. They're not in that frequency yet. And I just want to talk to those people here because they've just left CNN. They've left the mainstream because they're lying to them and they've realized that. And now they're trying to get their footing in this woo area. And some of it fits, some of it doesn't fit for them yet. And all I can say is keep an open mind. Leave things in your maybe folder for a little bit longer. That's hard for some people, and see where eventually it all comes together. But I think at the end of the day, if you go to these channels and you really pay attention to the different points of views, even when you don't agree with them, that's when you're going to start to maybe unblock some inner knowings for yourself. If you're in those community channels where they're always saying the same thing and they all agree, you're not necessarily serving yourself to the highest good. You really want to expose yourself to contradictory points of views, and this is what Janine and I try to do on the show. Sometimes we get flack for it, but ultimately we grow faster because of it. That's the whole point of this community. And a big thank you to all of the moderators who make sure that this is a civil discourse too when people have differences of opinion in the show. So big thank you to all of you there. So last note again, yes, Mount Meru, the North Pole, or is it? Check that out. That's available right now for the Insider Access Pass members, and it will be available probably tomorrow for the pay-per-view audience. When I said earlier, somebody said, you're absolutely right, JC, less is more. Well, less is more. It's coming up. Everybody's asking, where are the courses on the Beyond Mystic Academy? We're looking now at a launch date of end of June, maybe first week of July. Janine just pulled some cards on the launch date earlier today. So Julie and I are working on that. The issue was some of the off-the-shelf technology we're running to make this happen wasn't all talking to each other properly. So I've been working really hard in the background, making sure this is all cool and runs really, really cool before we launch. So maybe another month or so, but we're almost there. And of course, we're going to have different courses on different topics. It's all about self-mastery at the end of the day. We talked about the fact in the promo video we did today on the Now or Never campaign that we're teaching you how to create your own abundance. We're not talking about money per se, although that does come also with the abundance, but to reprogram yourself for abundance. That's priority number one, because that gives you the flexibility and the freedom to be the highest version of yourself. So a lot of these courses touch upon those subjects, and we'll drill down. This is the French version, of course, of the tarot. We'll have the English version with Janine, and quite a few more really amazing content creators for you there. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, Janine, let me see. Oh, wow, this is a crazy cool picture. Somebody just sent me a picture of their crystals. Oh, look at that. There's a Beyond Mystic silver bar in there. Oh, wow, that's amazing. You guys have the most amazing grids. You keep sending me all these pictures. I'm trying to collate them. That's absolutely beautiful. On that note, I believe tomorrow we're launching the silver bars to the public at large. I just spoke with Andy today. We were redoing the contact forms here tonight. So by tomorrow, probably on the Jim Willie and the Big Swear episode, I will be giving you the links for the new general population list here of the Beyond Mystic silver bars. So stay tuned for that. And Janine, somebody was just asking, let me see here. Stella, silver is super low now. Is that a sign that it will be going up soon? Let's answer that question.
Interesting they asked that, because that was one of the questions. So when I was driving, I jumped on that show with you right off the ferry, right, on Monday night. And you reminded me of the road trip that I always talk about, where I had all those signs. So I remembered to put it out there for the universe to please send me a sign. I wanted around anything we've been talking about. What are we going to see first, or what's something I need to know about the things we've been talking about? You know, are we getting this right? And the thing I got the biggest big signs, and literally big signs, like billboard size signs on two of them on silver. Wow. And the importance of silver. So silver, it has been manipulated for a really long time. And I feel like silver is going to be something that, so if it's low right now, take that as a sign to get some.
opportunity knocks, and Cliff High is famous for saying this too. All of this manipulation and this criminality basically is subsidizing you to get these silver at low prices. We wish it would go higher, but at the same time, often when it does, we say, wait, I wanted to buy a little bit more silver at a lower price. So this is your opportunity to do so. These are the coupon codes available to the Beyond Mystic audience. You can find that at beyondmystic.net /silver. Great. A couple of specials there and different products for you there on the American side. On the Canadian side also, the weekly specials right now, the 250 gram St. Helena bars at $5.69 Canadian over spot. And so for your Canadian members, you can buy directly in Canadian dollars, shipped directly from Canada. That is the mfbullion.ca. And let me bring that link down for you guys as well. Okay, and stay tuned for the shows tomorrow with Jim Willie and Big Swear and Julie. That'll be a cool show. Kathy Mihal says, exactly, JC, I am an open sponge. Oh, yes. Okay. I believe that everything is possible. Keep that possible file, quote unquote, 100 open, 100%. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Let me see if I can get a question here from the Insider Access Pass. Big thank you to you guys as well. Let's see. I've never looked into this guy. So this is Joy Buds. Question. Hello and much love. Okay. I always like Matt Damon. He seems like a nice guy. So can I have a confirmation of this? Even though he's a Hollywood guy, Matt Damon is portrayed as the lovable character in a lot of shows. Of course, he was that secret agent in the Bourne Identity or the Bourne series. But generally speaking, what's Matt Damon all about? I'm curious. Have you done a reading on him before?
I don't think so. I got a bad memory, so I don't remember reading on him. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, he's friends with Ben Affleck, so keep going, Janine.
Yeah. Okay. So he's kind of stayed on the outside here by the look of this, for the most part, because the Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's not owned by anybody. They're a free agent and a free spirit, but this is in the middle. So he's aware. He's very aware of the dark cult and that a lot of his friends are in it, but he's managed to stay aloof of it. Isn't that interesting? Right? He's kind of skirted the edges of it. And now we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So with everything coming out, I think he caught on that they were all going to get rounded up, because I feel like he's probably working with the good guys by the look of it.
Wow.
But not because he started out being a entirely good guy. He skirted the edges of it, but it doesn't look like he was fully immersed and doing the rituals, and not like this is in the middle, but on both sides looks like he's got a mind of his own. So he's not mind controlled according to that, and it doesn't look like he's owned by them.
Okay, that's interesting. Somebody on the screen, Matt and Ben are checked out. Interesting. Yeah, because Ben was in a lot of trouble also when the Me Too stuff came out, and there was some nastiness there too. Anyways, okay. Well, thanks for that question. I appreciate that. Cat Bear, this is cool. Hard question to ask. Let me see, Janine, how we can tackle this one. So the person is asking, again, Insider Access Pass, thank you. What is the next major event in the world? Land water event, disclosure of crimes against humanity, new monetary system, or something else? Do you want me to assign numbers to those, or does something else and you want to pull more cards? How do you want to tackle that, Janine?
Well, land would be pentacles, water would be cups. Wand is more spiritual, like that event that we talk about that's like a pulse or God.
Justice would be crimes against humanity, justice card.
Yeah, and then also you'd see little people cards like pages. So it'll
or new monetary system or something else. Okay, let's see what the cards. That's a good question.
Monetary, you might see some money cards, right? So
yeah, okay. So the question was, what's the next major world event?
Money cards. So money. Yeah. So something about the monetary system. It looks like. It's been held up, but there's been setbacks. It was meant to go ahead already. Something's already in place around it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see that. And shortly followed by maybe a water or a very emotional event.
Mm-hmm.
It could create disappointment, but it's temporary. So setbacks, it'll create temporary setbacks emotionally, which could be, I think I'm talking about the money event.
Yeah.
Or the financial event. That's what I think I'm talking about.
And that's what every poll is picking up right now too. In politics, everybody's looking at like the number one issue for people right now is their pocketbook. What the hell is happening to their purchasing power, or the evaporation of their purchasing power, and retirement funds and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I feel like it'll look like a loss with that 5, and then it'll balance out, and you'll need patience. And we've got that for a long time. It's going to look scary. You might look like you lose a lot of it at first, but there's things in place down the road that'll really help balance it out, but they're going to take time. So what you don't want to do is panic and buy into all the fear around what would appear to be, a banking crash, all of that. It already happened in the background, right? Yeah. They're just going to be admitting it, and it's going to cause panic with people that don't know what we know.
Right. Okay. Well, Janine, we're almost at the end of the show. We did this promo video earlier today, so I'd like to encourage the audience members to go check this out. It's called It's Now or Never. Tomorrow will be too late. Janine, I know we did it in that show, but let's do it here today for this audience also. You and I owe a big debt of gratitude to the people who helped us out when we launched the Insider Access Pass, the pay-per-views, that. This is your opportunity to talk to the audience here live. What would you say to these people who supported us, who were on the front lines here for the last year, and who now we're asking to stay with us here to continue this fight, as there are more of this movie yet to unfold?
Yeah. So that we love you, that you're the reason we're doing what we're doing, and we want to keep doing it. We love what we're doing. I think it's obvious we love what we're doing. And the fact that we're being supported in it makes every day just that much the better. It's like you're sending us ravens, only helping us buy the groceries.
Right, exactly. Well, I appreciate that, folks. And again, a big thank you to all of you. And if you were considering supporting us in this way here with the Insider Access Pass, we've created this new coupon code for you guys. Now or never, in one word. We'll give you an extra 10% off of the 1-year Insider Access Pass. It's already about a 50% discount. There's over $600 worth of material already on this product page, and we keep adding to it. So there's a big discount there, and of course now the 10% on top of that. And I wanted to bring your attention to the changes we made this year to the Beyond Crypto Woo, to the Astro Woo additions, and also to these Janine Investigates. As Janine was saying earlier, we're really decoding the new earth we're going to be living into here. We're being guided with these amazing shows here, and we're just going to be doing more and more of these here, on top of having other guests and new series come up over the years. So we're hoping that you getting into now will help you get away from the inflation, get behind the paywall so you don't have to deal with payment processors, and of course give Janine and I the stability to know that we can continue doing this on a daily basis as a full-time job, as of course it is. So a big thank you to all of you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Janine, last words of wisdom. You and I are probably going to meet again here on Monday. Some people are expecting, now that things are moving forward again after this retrograde, that we might see some rapid fire events here in the next couple of days, maybe this weekend. Let's just pull some general cards here to see how to navigate this until we meet again next Monday.
Wow, all the same cards as the money question, or the answer to what we're going to see next. So it could be as soon as that. Some situation around the financial world. It's been on hold, but we could get some real evidence here.
Wow.
Wow. 9. Yeah, and what we're doing is eventually moving towards, so the big picture, there'll be temporary setbacks, but the big picture is you're moving towards a more independent system where you're not being owned and,
Yeah.
Pillaged by a banking system that's
Right.
not to your best interest and could even be demonic.
Right. Oh, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy times. Well, Janine, I couldn't see it any other way. I'm so happy you're in my life. I'm so happy you were contributing to humanity together. And I'm so happy that you and I are supporting each other in this work too. It's been a hell of a year. Again, I love you, Janine. I love the audience members, but I love you too. And I'm so happy that we can continue doing this work together. And a big thank you to all
I
of you.
love you too, Jean-Claude.
Thank you. You're going to make me cry. Okay, folks, as we leave the show tonight, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already here on Descending Ravens, we're trying to pump this up as much as we can to hopefully sway the lords here of the money system to remonetize this channel. So far, it's a no-go, but please do go subscribe anyways and show your support there. And you, of course, can find Janine here at Tarot by Janine. And last but not least, if you want to come by over here, if you're watching on Janine's channel, to Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic 3, my third channel. We're almost at 75K here. We're growing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So please do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow for this Jim Willie episode and Bix Weir with the Silver Astral Loop. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.